Hi, good morning. I will start the session now. The last class we discussed about the parameter test script, how to pass the values to the script during runtime. So usually in QTP we have the three types of options are given to parameterize our test script. So one is random number, second one is environment variables, third one is data type. So these are the things where we discussed in the last class. Parameterization in QTP, three options, random number, environment variables from data type. The interview may ask you what is the advantage parameterizing test script. That is meaning parameter test script. I'm asking what is the advantage of that. What is parameterization? Means passing the values to the script. What is the advantage of that? Why we have to do like that? To increase the reusability of the script. That is the purpose. To increase reusability of the script. We have three options, random number, environment variables from data type. Coming to the random number, the question can be asked like this. When do you prefer this random number option? When do you prefer this random number option? If you want one range, one range, if you want one, not specific number. Whenever you want to parameter test script with a numeric value within the range, you can go for so random number. What is the syntax for that? So local variable equal to environment dot value of environment variable name. When do you prefer random number? What is the syntax? Where you use this one in our project? Where you use in our project? Let me ask that. So that is random number. Generally, we are not going to use in most of the cases in the project level. It may not be required for us. Okay, like that. Coming to the environment variables. What is that environment variable? When do you prefer environment variables? Which one? To reuse the test data into different scripts, different actions, different tests. We can go for the environment variables. What is the lifetime of the variable? Within the action or within the function only? Lifetime of the variable within the action or within the function only. Because of that we do environment variables are going to prefer. So can you tell what type of values we are going to reuse like that? In our project, what type of values? You can say application path, user ID, shared repository file path, there is a resource file path, password, this type of values we are going to maintain in general in environment variables. Okay. So what is the syntax to read the values from the environment variables? Local variable equal to environment dot value of environment variable name. Okay. Next thing, what type of environment variables are there? We have the two types. One is built-in environment variables. Other one is user-defined environment variables. So built-in environment variables means QTP defined variables. QTP given some predefined variables to return the values during runtime. So second one, user-defined. We can define our own variables to reuse test data. Those are called user-defined environment variables. There are two types, internal, external. Internal environment variables. What is the limitation? What is the difference from internal environment variables to the external environment variables? Mm. Internal environment variable within the test. Any actions you can parameterize. External environment variables, we can use any action script, any test. Where do you maintain external environment variables? XML file we are going to maintain. How do you associate external environment variable file? how do you create this export? So how do you associate? I'm asking. So environment dot load from file path of your external environment variable file you have to give. So this is the way. Can you tell limitation of the external environment variable? Can you tell limitation of the external environment variable? This is the limitation. Using external environment variables or environment variables concept, we can pass only one set of values. You understand? User ID means only one value. Password means only one value. If I want to pass a multiple set of values, then what to do? For that we have the concept called data table. See, logically understand. So you want to pass the random number within the range, random number. Maybe strings you want to pass, random number is not possible. Alternative environment variables. But using environment variables only one set of values, one user ID, one password. I want to go for multiple set of values, retesting activities. I want to do. We have to go for the data table. So whenever we parameterize script, taking test data from the data table, this is called data driven testing or retesting in QTP. Not only QTP, any automation tool, whenever we are going to pass the values to the script during runtime, taking the data table, this concept is called data driven framework we are going to call. Data driven framework. Okay. So now we have to discuss about that. Third one from data table. Data table. In general, we prefer data table. In general, we prefer data table to parameterize test script. To parameter test script. With a multiple set of test data. With a multiple set of test data. With a multiple set of test data. తనకు ఒకసారి కాల్ చేసి చెప్పండి జాయిన్ కాలేదు టెక్స్ట్ మెసేజ్ చేయండి. So in general, we prefer data table to parameter test script with multiple set of test data. Here, when you are going to work with the data table, so you need to specify, this is the data table. You need to use some methods for that, to read the values or to enter the values, or which sheet has to perform, or it has to find number of rows availability. For that purpose, we should get some idea about the first data table methods. What are they? Then I will go and show the implementation of those methods. Okay. Using following data table methods, we can parameterize using following data table methods, we can parameterize test script. The interviewer may ask the question, tell me some of the data table methods, because this is the one reason why do you prefer the automation testing. First one is add sheet. To add new sheet in runtime data table. To add new sheet into runtime data table. The syntax is no space, data table dot add sheet of sheet name. Whatever name you give, that name you're going to create. Add sheet. To add a new sheet in runtime data table. Add sheet. Next thing, let me see that move. What I am saying here, runtime data table, how it is going to be. Open new test. By default, how many sheets we are going to find in our data table? Only 2 sheets we are going to find. Maybe by requirement, I want to add one more sheet here. How I can do that? Data table dot add sheet. My sheet is the name I am giving. After execution of the statement, I want to pause my execution 10 seconds of time. So I can say that wait 10 seconds. I'm saying that. Now if I run it, the table which we have on QTP main screen, you can see my sheet is there. Okay. So this table we are going to call design time data table. The table which we have in the data table, which are going to call design time data table. Okay. Now here, once the execution is completed, are you finding here data table? Actually, my sheet is there? No. My sheet is not available here. Then where it is there? What I'm saying that when you go for the add sheet, we are going to add the new sheet into runtime data table. Now what I said here, it is design time data table. Where we are going to find this runtime data table? Open the test result window, view. Here we have something showing that runtime data table. So test result window, by default we are going to get one data table. So that is called runtime data table. There we are going to find the my sheet. Now you should understand here, during runtime, if you performed any operation on your data table, those operations will appear to you only execution time. Suppose you enter the value, it will shows to you one execution time. Once end of the execution, those operations will be affected at a test result window, runtime data table. At a test result window, runtime data table. Where it is going to be affected? Here, it is going to be affected. Understand it? Okay. So that means don't feel that when I execute this statement, it's not there. So not there means, so that is the mechanism they are given. Why they are given this concept like that? Reason, I may have some values here. I execute my script. It is updated those values. Automation test not for one time purpose. No. Next time when I am going to already update again, I want to change the values. That makes the problem. There's a concept for the expert's point of view. There's a reason it will shows to you how you are doing the operation. Once execution completed, those operations will be affected at a test result window, runtime data table. Okay. Like this, we have the various methods. Delete sheet. To delete specified sheet in data table. Syntax data table dot delete sheet of sheet ID or name. You can give the number global 0, action 1, 1, like that you can give. So here index starts with 1 only, data table. So 1 means global sheet, 2 means action sheet. Or you can give the names. But whenever we are going to use the name of the sheet, that should be case sensitive. Remember the points. Global, case sensitive you have to follow. Column names, case sensitive you have to follow. So now if I want to delete all the sheets means global sheet, action sheet. So it is not possible. At least one sheet you have to maintain. You add one sheet, then you delete other sheets. Okay. But deleting all the sheets are not possible. Okay. How can? We'll go through that. Second method only I explain. I'm not completed methods. First day I'm not explain this concept. I know that that's why environment verbs again I explained. You not understand it. Why I taken again that concept today. Okay. So add sheet, delete sheet. Now other one is import sheet or import. To import data from external data table, that is .xls file. 11.5 supports XLSX. 11.0 will not support XLSX extension. Okay. What is this? Import data from external data table, meaning if I have data already existing in Excel sheet, maybe in your test data folder, you want to import that values into the data table, we can go for the import method. Now, what is the syntax for that? Data table dot import of path of data table. Data table dot import path of data table. Here's some fundamental things you have to understand. Generally, if I go for the workbook, how many sheets we are going to find? Default 3 sheets we are going to find. Maximum 256, okay. Default sheet 3 sheets we are going to find. Now what I written the statement here, data table dot import path of data table. By default, how many sheets we are going to find in your QTP? 2 sheets we are going to in QTP. Global action. When you imported, third sheet is not there, but QTP is not going to give any intimation to you. Only 2 sheets data is going to import. Sheet 1 into global, sheet 2 data into the action, 1 sheet going to import. Now you want to take the third sheet and means we need to add the new sheet there. That is the add sheet. Now, other thing, whenever you're going to import the data, so make sure the source file should not be opened on screen. When you're importing data, source file should not be open, it should be closed. It is open means it won't import the data to you. Second point. The third point is whatever values are there in the first row in our workbook, all the values will become in data table column names. First row values which are there, those will become here column names. That means here in Excel sheet, maybe you give the like user ID password like this. UID given, password is given. Then when you imported, this values first becomes here like column names. QTP is not going to recognize column names as ABCD. That is also important. Don't say to the QTP A column values, it won't recognize. You have to give the meaningful names. Some names you have to give. Okay. What are the things first? So you are the responsible to make sure how many sheets data we have, how many sheets are available in the data table in the QTP to arrange. Then make sure, so data table should not exist on screen. Okay. Then column names by default here comes as a, first row values becomes as a column names here. Other things. Now 3 sheets data is not required. When a particular sheet data I want to get, I can go for the import sheet. To import data from particular sheet only, a syntax data table dot data table dot import sheet path of data table then source sheet ID, then destination sheet ID, source sheet means sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 where we have the data. Destination sheet ID means global sheet or action sheet or my sheet, whichever you created. That is. Same way we can go for the export. To export data from runtime data table, all the sheets values you want to export from the runtime data table, you can go for this one. Syntax data table dot export path of data table. It will create, when you define path here, it will create, or maybe available, it will overwrite. Next one. Export sheet. To export particular particular sheet data from runtime data table. Syntax data table dot export sheet path of data table sheet ID. Which sheet data do you want to export? That we have to specify. Next one. Get row count to find number of rows, data availability in specified sheet. I want to know that how many rows I have the data to give the for loop. Then you can go for the get row count. Syntax variable equal to data table dot get sheet of sheet ID dot get row count. Next one, add parameter to create a new column and to enter value under that column. To create new column and to enter value under that column. Syntax data table dot get sheet of sheet ID dot add parameter column name value. Whatever data do you want to enter under that column. Only one value you want to enter. You can go for like this. Column and has to be entered the value. Now see my here. Data table dot get sheet of. I want to work on the action one sheet. So where I want to create the column, you have to specify that. So get sheet of action one dot add parameter column name. Suppose C name, under that Smith is the value I want to enter. Now if I run it, so here execution has shown that, but in execution completed, that will be affected in the test result window, runtime data table. Global no operation action one sheet C name. Another we have the Smith here. Let us see example. This case already I have the customer name as C name already existing. If I run it, what will happen? So it won't override. It will go for another column will be created by, see the result window. Runtime data table, C name. Here I given, okay. The action one sheet I will give the C name. Already it is available. Then what will happen? You observe that. Now again I said that add this CNAME column, the test result window, what happens here, it will make the action one. So CNAME one it takes. Don't overwrite. So only one value under that column we can enter using add parameter. No, already column is there. Under this I want to enter the value. How we can go for that? For that, where we have the method called value. Value. In this method, we can enter value, under specified column in data table, and also we can read data, and also we can read data from data table. We can read data from data table. Syntax to enter data. Data table dot value of column name this sheet ID comma column name equal to data. If you want to enter the value, data table dot value of sheet ID column name. The other way also we can use this one here. To read data from data table, if I want to read the value from the data table, see value method, two ways we are going to use. So variable equal to data table dot value of sheet ID, comma column name. Column name. Let us understand how it is going to work for us. If I go for the new test here, already here in the C name I'm going to give the column name. Here I want to enter the value. How we can enter? So you can go for the data table dot value of what is the column name here? C name. Uh, I did mistake there. Okay. So sheet name we will see. The arguments are like this only. Column name, then global sheet. I will rectify it. Global equal to value which I want to enter with. Now if I run it, see name spelling is not correct here. See name. Okay. Now if I run my script here, so if I go for test result window, it will enter the value here. C name Smith here. Now already value may be available here. I want to read it. Smith is already available. You can take the same statement x equal to then message box of x it is. Now it is. Now here small mistake in the document syntax. What is the first argument? Column name only. Both cases. So this is what the little bit confusion we are going to get. A reason we are going to work simultaneously with two tools like Selenium and QTP. Column name comma sheet ID. Column name sheet ID. Like this. The next one, set current row to specify which row QTP need to perform operation. The syntax is data table dot get sheet of sheet ID dot set current row of row number. Set current row of row number like this. Now these are the 10 data table methods which are required for us to parameter test script, taking test data from the data table. These are the things, ma'am. Add sheet, delete sheet, import, import sheet, export sheet, get row count, add parameter, value, set current row. In this, again, import export methods are not preferable. Delete sheet also we are not going to use. The real time when are going to work. So 3 we are not going to work. 7 is we are going to use. Whenever you want to do the data driven framework. So let us see some examples here how we can do the scenarios here. To understand the scenario here, I have some values in the global sheet like this. Two columns I have the values. A, B, B is the column names. So I have some values. What is my requirement? So it has QTP has to add these two values. The sum it has to enter under CC column in the data table. That's a very basic example. So data sheet is global where I have the values. Two columns I have the values. Third column already given where QTP has to read the values from the data table. It has to add that sum it has to enter into the CC column. This is my requirement. How we can do that one? I am taking the new test. So column names I need to change. A, B, C, D it won't accept. So how to change the column names means double click on A. You give the your interested name for that. A. Double click on B. Give the your interested column name. Double click on C. Then enter some values here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Like this. Now tell me which method I need to. This is the operation I want to do. A multiplied with B, I want to plus addition I want to do A plus B. Now if you observe that for A I want to say to the QTP read the values from the data table as well as B also has to read the values for us. Okay. Now, if I want to see syntax, how to remember here? A has to read the value from where? Data table. Data table is an object which is given in the QTP. So, A equal to data table dot methods are given. Every object will have the some methods. Those are going to describe to you. What do you want to read? Value you want to read. Go for the data table dot value. Where do you want to add? Some intelligence is giving to you here. Parameter ID that means column name. It is asking that. Where it is there, which sheet you have, because you may have the multiple sheets global. Asking that like this. That's what you practice when you are going to write script manually. You'll get idea. Okay. So data table dot value of BB where it is global. Then this value I want to enter on the CC column data table dot value of column name CC. It is also in global sheet equal to C. Now I am going to run it. How many times my script has to execute? 5 times because 5 rows are there. Even though I am not given any loop there, my script is executing 5 times. First you observe that. 5 times my script is executed, but values are not there. Then you go for test and result window. You can see that it shows that how many iterations are completed? 5. Because we have default settings for the global sheet. When we have the test data in a global sheet, by default QTP will execute them that many iterations. So where this option is available, you can go to file menu, test settings, run. If you go, it shows that run on all rows. Maybe your intention only one time you want to execute, you can set that one. Generally it is not required for us. Or particular row to particular row you want to say, you can say that one. Okay. But these options are applicable only for global sheet, not for the other sheets. Okay. Now, if I run, but what is the output? Once again, you observe that when I run it, how the output is coming here. Is it adding a values? No, it is concatenating the values. Reason, by default data type, in QTP is string. When you read the values from the data table, it considers string. There is a plus which you can use to concatenate the strings. Ampersand or plus we can use to concatenate the strings. That's the reason it's doing the concatenation. Now I want to do addition operation. Now I need to specify the data type for my QTP. So I'm going to say here it is not a string, consider this as a integer. C int is the conversion statement you have to use here. So this is problem we are going to get only when you have the plus operator. Other arithmetic operation again by default considers as a integer, do the multiplication operation. But we have to take the attention when you have the plus operator, because plus can be used to add the values as well as to concatenate the strings. Okay, there's a conflict will be there for the QTP to give the clarity when you go see it. Let us see that if I run it, if I go for test result window, view, expand all, runtime data table, showing the right values, and how many iterations are taken, showing that. Okay. 5 iterations taken, like this. So one more thing you observe here, each iteration my QTP is going to perform the operation on corresponding row. First iteration time, which row values are taken? First row values. Second iteration time, second row values. So here, whenever you have the data in global sheet, as a test engineer, you no need to specify how many iterations are required and which row it has to perform the operation. By default, your QTP will take the responsibility. How many rows are there, that many times it will execute, and each iteration corresponding row, it will perform the operation. Okay? Like this. This is the one thing which you have. Okay. This time, I have the values in global sheet here. Not global sheet. Global sheet is like that we are going to work. I assume that I have the data this time, action 1 sheet. AA is the column, BB is the column. Two column names are given here, and AA and BB. So global sheet, there is no values. I have the values in action 1 sheet. Now I'm going to enter the values here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So this time I want to do the multiplication operation. Okay. And then I want to enter the values here in data table. So if I want to multiplication, I want to print the values first. Print C. So how we can go for this? You observe, it's a very important example. So I have the values in action 1 sheet where my QTP has to read those values. After multiplying, that amount it has to enter under C by giving the column name. C it won't accept. That's my requirement. Now A equal to what I should write, data table dot value of AA. So action 1 I have the data. So then B equal to data table dot value of BB action 1. Now if I run it, we'll see that what will happen here. How many times musket is going to execute? Only one time it's going to execute. Only one time it's going to execute. Now If I want to execute multiple times, what I should do? I should give the for loop. Okay. For loop I am going to give I equal to 1 to 5. So why 5? 5 nothing but a row count. So how do you find that one? Through script. Row count equal to data table dot get sheet of data table dot get sheet of which sheet do you want to find number of rows? Action 1 dot get row count. Basically we are saying that. Okay. Now first we are finding number of rows availability tested in action 1 sheet, then I given the for loop. So I'm going to run it now. We'll see that what the output we are going to get. Now you observe that what happened. Which row values we got here? Multiplication. Once again you observe that which row is highlighting, you observe here. Only first row is highlighting. So that means where we are working now, action 1 sheet. Global sheet QTP will take the responsibility to go for the other rows. Here it won't go. You have to write the script. So how do you say that one to work on the corresponding row based iteration? Data table dot get sheet of action 1 dot set current row of I. Understand here? In the loop, I am saying that based on the iteration in the loop, corresponding row it has to perform the operation. Set current row. Set current row is the method we are going to use. Now let us see if I run it, will it going to enter the values or not? It's reading the values. Right output we are getting. Now my intention, these values instead of print log window, I want to print into the C column. But I am not interested to change the value here. QTP has to change the value during runtime. So we have the method called add parameter. So I go for data table dot so get sheet first I have to specify which sheet do you want to work. Action 1 dot add parameter. What is the column name I want to give here means CC. Another I want enter the C value. Now you see that add parameter, if already column name existing, what happens? See, like this going to enter. Because when a test complete CC column is already existing. Next is the CC one is taken. Now in order to overcome that, I want to execute this statement only one time. No? You can take here or I can say create the column name. C means temporary value. Anything you can give Smith I given or I may go for inside Q I given. Let us run it. So now here what I need to do here, instead of this what I should say here, data table dot get sheet of it is okay. I want to enter the value, no? So where I want to enter BB column, in which sheet, in action 1 sheet equal to C, because when the statement executed, what is happens? CC column will be created. Now another CC, no, I want to enter CC. And the CC column I want to enter the values. Data table dot value CC column action 1 equal to C. Now if I run, I'm going to execute. So if I go for test result window, runtime data table, action 1, we got the output on. So it is very important example. Why it is very important example? Not in terms of this line more. Remaining everything is data table methods. Only that line we are not using here, data table method. Remaining all data table methods are going to be covered. So add parameter, get row count, set current row. So value, these things are covered. To read the value, to enter the value. This is the way how we can enter the value into the data table during runtime. Because the syntax is like this. Add parameter, syntax, what is that? Column name, value we have to give. Value is not given, it throws error message. So what is the purpose of add parameter? To create new column and to enter value under that column. Which value do you want to enter? That you have to specify. You observe that inside queue will come here first, then that will be overrides. Observe that. So not use of that one, you are using that one to enter the values into data table. So column name is not there. How do you give the column name? CC column name I want to give. How we can give the column name? CC. Where? Where do you put? Manually you want to enter. My intention execution I want to enter the column. How do you enter column name? Column I want to create during runtime. How do you create it? For that they given add parameter they are given. What they are saying that you can create a column as well to enter the value. For that purpose you have to go for inside queue. Now what I want, actually inside queue entering is not my intention, but I need to use temporary purpose. So that is temporary value. So when I set here column 1, value CC action 1, it will override the existing value for us. Now using that as a buffer here. Okay, like that. Is it clear this example? Clear? Clear? Already copied. Is there? Change it. Okay. Previous example to this example, there is a variation. One is sheet. Previous one global sheet. This one is action one sheet. So apart that, there we have 3 columns already given in the global sheet. Here, only 2 columns. Execution I want to create the column. For that add parameter is the statement we are using here. Okay. So global sheet, action sheet, okay. Now external data table, how we can use. Now sheet 1 if I go here. User ID, password, MindQ, Mercury. Valid user ID, valid password I given. Valid user ID, invalid password I am giving. Invalid user ID, valid password. inside queue without user ID, Mercury, again mind queue, Mercury. So the different set of values I'm taking. I will save into the C drive. 7 a.m. October, new folder, test data folder, login data.xls, values. Now this is what data driven framework. I have the values here. With these values I want to go for the login validation. Okay. How we can go for that? Open QTP, new test. Now here already how many sheets are there here? Global action one sheet is there. So whenever we are going to import the data, importing data into the global action sheets are not preferable. Why means these named sheets are common in any test. When we are going to reuse this script into another test, there will be conflict in terms of sheet names. Because of that, so importing data into the global action sheets are not preferable. New sheet you have to create for that. How do you create the new sheet? Data table dot add sheet. Now I am giving the sheet name as test log. Data table dot add sheet of test log I am giving. After that, data table dot I want to import the data, not all the sheets, only particular sheet data. Data table dot import sheet, where it is there, C drive 7 October 16. In that test data folder, I have the login data dot xls. Which sheet data it has to import? Sheet 1 data. Where it has to import? My sheet, my test log sheet. Now see that already sheet is opened here. If I executed my script, will it import or not? Will it give any error message or not? So nothing will happen. Data is also not imports. This is the most of the times we are going to see the mistakes by the students in the lab. But there is no data. So because source file already opened on screen, try to close this file, then you run it. Then you observe that data is going to import or not. Test result window, runtime data table, test log sheet if you go. Got the values are not here, like this. Now you observe what are the column names? AB is there or user ID password? Because first row values become here column names. Then I want to see here I have the values like this. Two columns I got. Now third column required or not to provide the status of the test required. I want to create the new column. How do you create the new column? Data table dot get sheet of where test log sheet. What I want to do? Add parameter. Column name I want to give as status. Some temporary value. So anything I can give. Okay. Inside queue I want to give. Okay, inside queue I give one. Then after that I want to find the row count. How do you find? Data table dot get sheet of test log sheet. Then see only these two are the new previous example to this example. Remaining again action one sheet how you perform same way it is. So data table dot get row count. Okay. After the for loop I can use for I equal to 1 to row count. In this we have to specify where it has to work. Data table dot get sheet of test log sheet dot set current row of I. Now to open application. Yesterday example, my login validation script we want to do now. Also try to add the login objects information to the object repository. Default object types I'm selecting. Now what I want to say, if not, that means login not available, 2 minutes. So if not dialog login dot exist in 2 seconds of time, then only I want to invoke the application. So I can say invoke application, path of the application, properties. Okay. After this, to perform login operation, dialog of login dot activate, dialog of login dot win edit of agent name dot set data table dot value of where my column name, what is the column name here? User ID, user ID, where it is there, test log sheet, dialog of login dot win edit of password dot set data table dot value of column name password pwd I give, where it is there, the test log sheet. Then dialog of login dot win button of OK dot click. Then to check flight reservation window availability, by adding this flight reservation window information also into the object repository. If a window of flight reservation dot exist in maximum 10 seconds of time, then data table dot value, one column I created must. What is the column I created? The status in test log sheet. I want to say that successful login operation. Then I want to close the window also, because next iteration time already existing always says the test is passed. So because of that, once the login operation completed, successful login operation, I want to write the data table, I want to close the window, close. Else maybe. So maybe meaning here, when I enter some other value, not valid data, suppose ABC and Mercury if I enter, when I click on OK, we are going to get the error message. Now I want to read this error message. How we can read the error message? Add this object information to the object repository. Static is showing that. Some name is showing. But what is the class is static. Name is not that much meaningful here. So I can rename the objects. Error message. Error message. Then, so what I can say here, EMSG equal to dialog of login dot dialog of flight reservation, two pop-up windows. So here one is subwin login and then pop-up window. Then dot class is static, no? Error message dot get arrow property of text. Okay. Then I want to close this pop-up window. Dialog of login, dialog of flight reservations dot close. I want to close. Then pop-up window I want to close. Then this message I want to pass into the test result window. Data table dot value of 2 minutes. Data table dot value of test log. So status is the column name. Status, then test log equal to EMSG error message I want to write. So like this I want to execute. After execution I want to go for like this for data table dot export sheet, where I want to export here C drive. So 7 October, so 16, so test result folder, I should create that one. So here login result dot xls, which sheet I want to export, test log. Let me create one folder there. Test result folder. What I given here in the script, test result. Not a problem. It is. Okay. Now I will close this all things more. Insert Q is there, that will be overwritten for successful login operation. So we got successful login operation message there. We got another password, please try again. This is what the data driven framework. Okay. So here only we are working with newly today how to work on data table. Login operation script you know, how to pass the values you know, how to provide the information object repository you know, how to invoke the application you know. Get our property already I explained that. So altogether you have to combine. That's what the framework meaning. So our concepts you learn. So my own result file, where it is there, my own result file, 7, my working folder. So if I go for test result, here I have the login result. So it shows that. So 3 examples I shown. And also I'm going to send the notes where we can find another example also on Mercury Tools login operation script, web application. Okay, so try these things. Tomorrow we are going to discuss the modular framework concept with actions, how it is going. Everyone given mail IDs to me, you know, you're not given.